All right. So namaste everyone, and this is meant to be a session that will tell you about the daily mantras. Okay, that everyone must do. Okay. The reason why this session was decided because in the last session there were a few questions on what mantras can be done regularly by everyone, and there are a few mantras that should be done. Okay, that should be done irrespective of your planetary positions, irrespective of who you are, irrespective of wherever you are born. But then, just hold on.
Big sister.
Okay. So there must, there are a few mantras that that everyone must do, irrespective of your planetary positions, irrespective of wherever you are born, and also irrespective of any mahadasha that you run. Now there is a problem with people, especially with Indians. We like to change our gods. Okay, we have many gods. Obviously, we have a pantheon of gods, and then what we want to do is that we want to change our gods every now and then. Okay, so this is a problem that we have, and this cannot be right, or this cannot be. I'm not saying that God will get angry or something if you keep on changing from one mantra to the other. But then Achyutananda, Sri Achyutananda Dasa, who belonged to the who was the who belonged to the starting lineage of Pandit Sanjay Rath, he said a very important thing, that you should not make God change clothes very often. Okay, what does that mean? It is that you know the moment you are doing the mantra of a particular swarupa or a particular form of God, you're making God appear in a particular dress. And then the moment you switch to a different mantra, you're forcing God to change the dress that God is wearing and come to you in a different form. Okay, so this is not right particularly. And it also shows that your mind is very, very imbalanced. Your mind cannot stay fixated at a particular swarupa or a particular form of the divine. Anyways, what we do know, or what we can agree upon, is that the divine is particularly formless. The divine is particularly formless, and the form that we worship, okay, the form in which we worship the divine, that form is a form of our liking, that form is a form of our choice, right? But other than that, the divine cannot have a form. Okay. All right. So the first mantra, okay, the first mantra that everyone must do is the Gayatri Mantra. Okay, that is the first mantra. That is the very first mantra that everyone must do. Now, when I speak about the Gayatri Mantra, the first thing that comes to our mind is the most common form of the Gayatri Mantra that we hear. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So that is a very common form of the Gayatri Mantra. But this Gayatri Mantra that we hear most commonly is not Vedic. Okay, it's not Vedic. The Vedic Gayatri Mantra is the Savitur Gayatri Mantra. Okay, I've spoken about the Gayatri Mantra, and and why it should be done and how it should be done in very elaborate details on one of my old videos titled Mantra and Diksha. Okay, so if you want to access the recordings, it is there on YouTube. But then when you speak about the Gayatri Mantra, the Vedas, they say that the Vedic mantras cannot be restricted for anyone. Okay, it can be done irrespective of your caste, of your gender, of your of your orientation, basically. So the Savitur Gayatri Mantra is meant for everyone, and that is something that everyone must do. Okay, because that is, that is a very powerful Surya mantra. Okay. Now the Savitra Gayatri Mantra starts with Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Thiyo Yuna Prachodayat. That is the Savitra Gayatri Mantra. Okay. But then what about the regular form of Gayatri Mantra that we hear very often? Om Bhurbhuva Swaha. That is, that is a Gayatri, that is the Savitra Gayatri Mantra with the Brahaspati Samput. Okay. Samput is like a trigger. It's like a missile that contains a very specific power embedded in it. Okay. So this Om Bhurbhuva Swaha, this is the trigger for Brahaspati. Right? This is the trigger for Brahaspati. But then when you speak about a trigger, that trigger will work only if, if the initiation has been done by a guru. Okay, if you have been initiated into the Brahaspati Gayatri, only then this mantra will work. And that is the reason. Okay, that is the reason you see many people, many people starting Gayatri Mantra, starting the recitation or the practice of Gayatri Mantra with a lot of vigor, with a lot of enthusiasm. And then after maybe 1 lakh repetitions, or maybe after 3 lakh repetitions, when nothing happens, they get disillusioned. So this is because they don't have the necessary diksha for chanting it. Okay. So Brahaspati Gayatri Mantra, or the Gayatri Mantra with the Brahaspati Samput, that is meant for, for only a chosen few. By chosen few, I mean only those who have been given the adhikar or the authority for chanting that by a guru. But this Savitra Gayatri Mantra is, is meant for everyone, and this is something that, that everyone must do. Okay. So how to do it? You will not sit on the bed. You will always sit on the ground, preferably. If sitting on the ground is not possible, then at least sit on a chair or a sofa, but not on the bed. And you will do this for at least 27 times. Okay, I would ideally want every one of you to do it for 108 times, but you would actually do it for 27 times if time is a problem for you. And that has to be done early morning before 9 o'clock. Okay, why before 9 o'clock? Because after 9 o'clock, the rays of the sun, they lose the quality of Savitur. Okay, the rays of the sun, they have a certain quality to them. So after 9 o'clock in the morning, they lose, they are no longer having the quality of Savitur. Savitur Gayatri Mantra has to be chanted at any time after sunrise and before 9 o'clock in the morning. And you can make it more effective, to make the Gayatri Mantra more effective, you must, you can or you must maintain a strict discipline with respect to time. For example, suppose you are starting the Gayatri Mantra, you are starting your mantra chanting, even if you're doing it for 27 times, suppose you are starting the mantra chanting on a Sunday, basically, because Gayatri Mantra is related to the sun. So you'll start it on a Sunday. And, suppose you are starting on a Sunday at around 7 o'clock in the morning, then every day you should, you should continue at the same time. Why? Because not only you are saying the mantra, but the idea is to imbibe the qualities of the sun within you. And as we know that Surya is the master disciplinarian. It is the most disciplined planet in Vedic astrology. Okay. So that is how, how you must do the Gayatri Mantra. Okay. You can also add more variations to it. For example, if you're starting the Gayatri Mantra, you can fast every day, on a Sunday. Okay. And while fasting, you should ideally fast from morning to evening, preferably without water. And in the evening, you should abstain from having food grains. That means rice or wheat or such foods, right? But be careful with this, because your fasting should not happen on the day of your second lord. So for example, if you are Cancer ascendant, then your second house would be ruled by sun. So in that case, fasting cannot be done on a Sunday and should not be done on a Sunday, because then your money, your family wealth, everything will start getting eroded. Okay, so this is the first mantra that you must do. Now comes the second mantra. Okay, the second mantra is the Mritunjaya Mantra. Okay, we call it as Mritunjaya Mantra, but that is something else. Okay, that is meant only for a very selected people. The Mritunjaya Mantra does have the power to bring people out from death. I have personally seen its application when, when someone was suffering from stage 4 cancer, and this Mritunjaya Japa was done. The person not only recovered from that cancer, it also ensured that the cancer never came back again. So it does have the power, but it's not available in public domain. Okay, the mantra that you see or the mantra that is available is not the Mritunjaya Mantra, it is the Mritunjaya Mantra, so as to say. Okay, so this Mritunjaya Mantra is Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityormukshaya mamritar. So please notice how I am not adding the om before, before Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim, because adding the om will diminish the quality of the mantra. Okay, in Vedic times there were very, there were very strict guidelines, or there were very strict, strict rules as to how and why people should not, under which conditions people should actually chant the word om, and under which conditions people should not do it. Okay, so those were very, very, those were very, very specific rules. And it is said that, just to recite om perfectly, it took a student of the Vedas around 12 years. Okay, so we don't have that amount of time with us, right? So what I have found in my experience is that the Mritunjaya Mantra, the Mritunjaya Mantra gets keeled up. Keeled means it gets locked up if you use the om before Trayambakam. Okay, so do it without chanting the word om, right? And this has to be done particularly in the evening, not in the morning. Okay, not
What
in
do
the
you mean, Debarshi? What do you mean locked up? Or what do you
locked up
mean?
means it is actually, the Sanskrit word is kila. Okay, it is known as kila. So kila is a lock to to prevent the mantra from acting on the mind. Okay, so there are several mantras which have a which have a lot of kilakam. Okay, so if you go deep into it, you will understand how to unlock those mantras, right? So chanting om before the Mritunjaya Mantra will lock up the mantra from manifesting, which you don't want. Okay, so again 27 times in the evening. Okay, now one might ask why the Mritunjaya Mantra, because number one, it's a Vedic mantra, and number two, it is the perfect antidote to all your hidden fears and insecurities. Okay, and you'll see that your hidden fears and insecurities, they become very, very active when when you are undergoing the period. It could be a dasha, it could be an antardasha, it could be a pratyantar dasha of the of the second lord or the seventh lord, right? So most of the times the second lord will remain conjunct with other planets. Similarly, there would be planets in the second house. Similarly, the seventh lord would remain conjunct with other planets. There would be planets in the seventh house as well. So you don't have to be selective as to as to when to do the Mritunjaya Mantra. This has to be done almost every day. Okay, it is not almost every day, it has to be done every day, right? So this is the second mantra that you must do. Okay, the first mantra is the Gayatri Mantra, the Savitra Gayatri Mantra, and then the second one is the is the Mritunjaya Mantra. Okay, then the third mantra is, this is a condition. These two are very, very these two are very, very must do mantras. Okay, now the third mantra is a conditional mantra. The third mantra, or the mantras that you must do, which I'll be telling you, is a conditional mantra, and that depends if you have planets in the seventh house of Navamsha. Okay, if you have planets in the seventh house from Navamsha Lagna, then you must do the mantras related to the Pratyadi Devata of those planets. Okay, and there are two types of devatas. One is the Adi Devata and the other is the Pratyadi Devata. So Adi Devata is, worshipping the Adi Devata is meant to increase the effect of the planets, and worshipping of the Pratyadi Devata is meant to, is meant to end the karma of the planets. And we always want, that, that the karma of the planets situated in the seventh house of the Navamsha must end as soon as possible. Okay, because having planets in the seventh house of D1 or the seventh house of D1 being damaged is not very dreadful. Okay, but having planets in the seventh house of Navamsha can not only destroy your relationships, can not only destroy your marriage, it can also be very, very dreadful, because then the planets will actually start eclipsing your thought process in real sense of the term. That is the reason these planets are known as graha, because graha, it actually comes from the word grahan, and grahan means to eclipse. So what these planets do is that they eclipse the mind of the of the individual. Okay, If you look at the chart of Mahatma Gandhi, he had Surya in the seventh house of of D9. And if you look at his life, the pattern of his life, his entire life was spent in fulfilling the agenda of Surya. Okay, his entire life was spent in fulfilling the agenda of Surya. For example, right from his early days when he was thrown off from that train. Then while he returned to India, he was forced to take up politics, and politics never allowed him to to rest in peace. His personal life was in doldrums. His sons, one of his sons died, one of the other sons converted to a different religion. Okay, and then even while dying, it is said that he died while uttering the word Hey Ram. Okay, so Ram is the Vishnu Swarupa that is connected to Surya. Okay, so anyways, that is just for a discussion. But on your part, if you have planets in the seventh house of Navamsha Lagna, sorry, seventh house from Navamsha Lagna, that means the seventh house of G9, you must do the mantras related to the Pratyadi Devata of those planets. Okay, so for Surya, the Pratyadi Devata is Shiva, and the mantra is Namah Shivaya. You must do 2 malas of this mantra every day in the evening. Okay, then in the morning. Okay, then for Chandra, the Pratyadi Devata is Gauri. Okay, so the mantra is Om Gauriyai Namaha, 3 malas in the evening. Okay, then for Mangala, the mantra is the Pratyadi Devata is Skanda or Kartikeya. So the mantra would be Om Skandayai Namaha or Om Kartikayai Namaha, 3 malas in the evening. Okay, for Buddha, the mantra is the Pratyadi Devata is Narayana. Okay, so the mantra is Om Namo Narayanaya. This has to be done for 3 malas either in the morning or in the evening. This does not matter. Buddha does not have a rule. Then for Guru or Jupiter, the Pratyadi Devata is Sadashiva. Okay, and the mantra is Om Namah Shivaya. This must be done during the day. Okay, 3 malas during the day. For Shukra, the Pratyadi Devata is Lakshmi, and the mantra is Om Shri Lakshmi Yai Namaha. And there's 4 malas of this mantra must be done, in the morning. Okay, for Shani, the mantra is for Shani, the Pratyadi Devata is Narayana. Okay, and the mantra is Om Namo Narayanaya. It is the same as Buddha, but just like Buddha's mantra does not have any restrictions regarding the time of the day, Shani's mantra must be done at night. 3 malas of this mantra at night every day. Okay. For Rahu, the Pratyadi Devata is Durga, right? And the mantra is Om Durgayai Namaha. Okay, Om Durgayai Namaha. This must be done 3 malas every, in the evening. Okay, so by evening I mean after sunset. For Ketu, the Pratyadi Devata is Ganesha. Okay, and the mantra is Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, 4 malas again in the evening. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying about morning and evening is the classification of the planets on a day strong or a night strong basis. Okay, so what are the day strong planets? The day strong planets are Surya, Guru. Okay, Surya, Guru, Shukra. These are the day strong planets. Okay, the night strong planets are Chandra, Mangala, Shani. Okay, the night strong planets are Chandra, Mangala, and Shani. Buddha is both day strong and night strong. Okay, Buddha is both. And for Rahu and Ketu, they will be night strong because of that phrase. We have heard about that phrase, Pujavat Ketu, Shanivat Rahu. So Ketu behaves like Mars and Rahu will behave like Saturn. So both of them are considered to be night strong. Okay, that is the reason you have to do these mantras either in the day or or at night. Okay, so these are the first 2 mantras that I had told you. They are compulsory by nature, irrespective of your, as I said, of your gender, irrespective of your orientation, irrespective of anything. Okay, next the mantra is the mantra for the Pratyadi Devata, that is conditional. If you have planets in the 7th house of Navamsha Lagna, or in the 7th house from Navamsha Lagna, you must do the mantra of the Pratyadi Devatas or those grahas. And now finally what you must do finally what you must do is the Navagraha Stotram. Okay, you must do the Navagraha Stotram. Okay, and that has to be done immediately after bath. Okay, just after coming out of your bath, you must do the Navagraha Stotram. Okay, you can search it on the net. The Navagraha Stotram again must be done by everyone. Okay, and finally, if you ask me what Gayatri Mantra, what mantra you can chant for the sun, then there is a Gayatri Mantra which is specifically dedicated to the sun, and it's a very short mantra. It is Om Grine Surya Adityaya. Okay, this mantra, this mantra must be recited, right? If you are doing the Savitra Gayatri Mantra, as I have mentioned, you can also do this Gayatri Mantra specifically dedicated to the sun, which is the Savitra Gayatri, which is the Surya Gayatri Mantra. Om Grene Surya Adityaya. Okay, and then as a ritual, to keep you protected during the entire day as you're moving out. Most of our lives are spent traveling nowadays. Okay, maybe from home to office or from office to home. Every day before you step out of after you step out of your house, before you take the first step out of your gate, just look at the sun and say namaste to it and seek protection. Okay, the sun is the most protective deity. Okay, he is a very protecting devata, and he will protect you. And I say this despite even if the sun is your 8th lord. Okay, or even if Surya is in the 8th house, then also Surya will protect you. Okay, and finally I'm giving out a mantra for for stability. Suppose you find that your career has become very, very unstable. Okay, your family life has become very, very unstable, or maybe your income has become very, very unstable. What you will do is that after the Gayatri Mantra, okay, after the Gayatri Mantra, you will recite a mantra dedicated to the serpents. Okay, this mantra works for both Rahu and Ketu, because any form of instability is always caused due to nodal afflictions or nodal conditions in the chart. Okay, so the mantra is Om Astika Siddhaya Namaha. Okay, Om Astika Siddhaya Namaha. So this has to be, you must chant it 9 times in the morning as well as in the evening. If you want, if you want a particular aspect of your life to settle down, or if you want stability, so as to say, in a particular aspect of your life. Okay, so that is it, right? So these are the daily mantras that that you must do. If you have any questions, I welcome them.
Yeah, Devesher,
Yeah,
Shiji, thank you. Sorry, so for, you gave us the 9 grahas and the the Devata. I missed Chandra.
for Chandra, it is Gauri. So the mantra is Om Gauri Namaha.
Okay, Gauri. And so can you talk a little bit? Okay, so then what about if someone, so you talked about if they have planets in D9,
In the
what
7th,
if someone in the 7th house, correct? Sorry about that. So what if there isn't any planets in that house?
then it is okay. Then it is okay. Then no planets, no problem.
Okay, no planets, no problem. Okay.
Yeah, no planets, no problem.
Okay. And then can you speak a little bit about this last mantra that you gave us with, you said it was for the Nagas, right?
Yeah, it is for the Nagas basically. So this is more about stability. If you find any aspect of your life being unstable, for example, your relationships are unstable, or maybe your work life is unstable, or your family life is unstable. Okay, maybe your health can also be unstable. In that case, the mantra would be Om Astika Siddhaya Namaha.
What is the name of that mantra?
Om Astika Siddhaya Namaha. Just type it in the chat box in that case.
No, yeah, got it. What is the name? What it's called?
It is the mantra for Astika Muniraja. It is known as the Astika Muniraja Mantra.
Okay, Astika
Muniraja Mantra.
Muli?
Muniraja.
Muniraja. All right. You spoke about if Rahu and Ketu are in a certain house or certain location.
See,
Right.
problems from Rahu Ketu can come from, they can come from anywhere, because Rahu is the reason why you are born. Okay, you are born because of a particular desire. If Rahu was not there, you would not be born. And Rahu is the motivation, is the place of motivation in the chart. What motivates you? Actually, that is the seat of Rahu. The house, where Rahu is placed, that house is the motivating factor for you. That is the reason why you wake up every morning and try to go for it. Try to live your life in a certain way. And this is the reason why I have my wallpaper as the in the form of serpents, because all the mantras, they are primarily connected to Rahu, right? If Rahu is very strong, you would be you would be in love with mantras. Okay, that is the speciality of Rahu.
Okay, nice. So on that note of, I think you mentioned the second house and things. So I heard on, I think it was Cosmic Insight, like if someone has a 2-8 axis with Rahu Ketu, there is a special mantra for career and observing Lord.
See, the mantra for career will always come from the moon. Okay, it will always come from the moon. You have to observe the position of the moon in D1. You have to observe the position of the moon in D9, and then you have to come to a mantra. Okay, it is
Yeah,
a
no,
very, yeah, it
it's
has to come from the moon, because
it's specific to the 2-8 axis with Rahu Ketu and Lord Kubera and with the mongoose and
yeah,
something.
that mantra was given out by Cosmic Insights way back in, I suppose, in 2018 or 19. But in my personal opinion, in my personal opinion, worshipping of Kubera can be a very dangerous thing to do. Okay, there was this particular lady in the group. She's still there. I'll not mention the name. So she had started worshipping Kubera by watching a YouTube video, and then that Kubera had got stuck onto her, and it was eating her bit by bit. So we had to get a tantric ritual done to remove the Kubera from her body. Okay, so
What does it mean, remove the Kubera from her body? What do you mean?
because see, there is not only one Kubera. If the Kuberas that you see, there can be multiple Kuberas. One Kubera would be would be in charge of your wealth. One Kubera could be in charge of the natural resources. One Kubera could also be in charge of the water in your house. Okay, so worshipping Kubera can be a very dangerous, because because at the end of the day, Kubera is a yaksha. Okay, yakshas are not meant to be worshipped, right? And the only, here is a secret, I'm letting it out. The only deity that is afraid of Kubera is the only deity that Kubera is afraid of is Shiva. Okay, because Shiva has nothing to lose. What will Kubera take away from Shiva? Kubera is the loan giver of the gods. He gives loans to the gods, right? You have you must read up the story of of how Balaji came into being, how Vishnu had taken a loan from Kubera, and to repay that loan, he had to become Balaji, he had to become Venkateshwara. So the only deity that Kubera is afraid of is Shiva, because Shiva can just take away the wealth of Kubera, and Kubera has nothing to take away from Shiva. So there is a very specific Shiva mantra that can be that can be used to invoke the grace of Kubera. I'll not share this for a very specific purpose, but worshipping of Kubera can be a very dangerous thing to do.
So what is a yaksha?
Yaksha is a supernatural being, just like we have devatas. Just like just like Vishnu is a devata, or maybe Skanda is a devata, or maybe Shiva is a devata. Yaksha is a is a lower form of a devata, but those beings are mainly concerned with guarding the resources of the planets.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, there is a question: if we have space constraints, mantra which chant 9 times or 27 times, can we stand and chant? It is not actually recommended for standing and chanting, because if you are standing and chanting, it implies that you don't have the time. Okay, so if you are chanting a mantra, you should always do it in a very relaxed manner. You should enjoy the chanting. Basically, you should enjoy the chanting, because if you're not enjoying it, if you're just doing it mechanically without getting to the essence of it, you will miss it. Okay, yeah, any more questions from anyone?
Sir?
Yeah, Bhartiji, tell me.
Sir, I'm from Tamil Nadu.
Right.
Sir, is there any mantra for Rahu, which is in 10th place of my horoscope, sir. That's all.
See, the thing is that when you speak about a mantra for Rahu, mantras are there for every graha. Okay.
Okay, sir.
For every
Okay,
graha.
sir.
But what happens is when in whichever house Rahu is placed, you would have some problems related to that house. Okay. And you have to, you have to learn to deal with those problems on your own, because Rahu represents your effort to break boundaries. Okay, Rahu will represent the the effort to break boundaries. So boundaries can be broken only by yourself. You cannot expect anyone to break your own boundaries, right? So those boundaries are not, they are more mental in nature as compared to the physical boundaries.
Okay, sir. The wallpaper which you are keeping your backside is entirely nice, sir, which indicates the message of today and your mantras.
Right. That is the reason I told you just now. No? That is the reason, because mantras are entirely the domain of Rahu.
Yes, sir. Already Bhavani Anand sir, Anna, I said about you in our Facebook on most of the Tamil Nadu people. Bhavani Anand Anna is introducing you as a genius in some of the areas. You are giving mantras. Already we people
that is his barappan, that is his goodwill, that he considers me to be a genius. I'm not a genius. He has he has a very profound influence on me, and today coincidentally is his birthday as well.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, any mantra to keep enemies away, like neighbors and known enemy? Yeah, Skanda mantra. Okay, Skanda, do Skanda Gayatri, that will help you out. Okay, do Skanda Gayatri. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Mahasenaya Dhimahi Tannah Shanmukh Prachodayat. That is the mantra. Okay, Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Mahasenaya Dhimahi Tannah Shanmukh Prachodayat. That is the Skanda Gayatri mantra. Do it at least 27 times. If you can do it 108 times, it's much better. Okay.
Can you repeat it one more time, Debarshi ji?
Yeah, Om Tatpurushaya Vidmahe Mahasenaya Dhimahi Tannah Shanmukh Prachodayat. Okay. And since there is a lot of discussion on Rahu, okay, so what you can do, okay, if there is a problematic Rahu, or if you are undergoing a very tough Rahu Mahadasha, what you can do is that you can make a symbolic offering of pure cow milk to outside your house, and request the serpents to come and have it, because the Pratyadi Devata of Rahu, according to some traditions, is Gau Mata. Okay, so just have some cow milk in a small bowl, right? Put it outside, make a prayer that all the serpents who are around here may come and feast on this milk. Keep it for the whole day, and at night just throw it away, and replace the milk fill the bowl with fresh milk again in the morning. So that can be a very good Rahu remedy if people are willing to try it out.
Debarshi ji, on that note, would it be acceptable that if we're buying pure cow milk from the supermarket?
Yeah, that is anyways, we don't have cows nowadays at home, right? No one in India has a cow. At least no one in urban India has a cow at home right now. So it's very much acceptable, but it has to be done with a lot of devotion. It's not that you are doing a remedy for the sake of doing it. So devotion is the key.
Is there a flower that goes with Rahu?
The flower is Nagalingam flower, but I don't think you will find it there in the West. It is the Nagalingam flower. Okay.
Yeah, that's the white, the champa, right? That's the white flower with the yellow in the middle. It's champa.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll just take a question and then I'll answer it. Bharataji, in your videos, you said you don't recite mantra sitting on the bed. Is there any particular deity causing the problem? Indra Gayatri Mantra is okay to be chanted on bed then? No, it's not okay to be chant any mantra on bed, because bed represents your 12th house. That is the house where you find things that are going away from you. Okay, that is the place where Venus exalts. That is the place where you copulate. That is the place where you perform your sexual activities. So if you're doing any mantra from, on the bed, what happens is the purpose for which you are doing the mantra, that purpose will start going away from you. For example, if you're doing a Indra Gayatri Mantra, so Indra basically is meant for increasing your wealth. Okay, since you mentioned specifically about Indra Gayatri, Indra is a deity who is meant to increase your wealth. So if you're chanting the Indra Gayatri Mantra on bed, wealth will go. Okay, wealth you go. Kumbha Shani Dasha started. Can you tell any mantra for period? Kali Ashtottari Shatanamavali. Okay, Kali Ashtottari Shatanamavali. That is one mantra that everyone can do. I am not in favor of doing Sahasranam unless and until you are initiated into it, because Sahasranam can be very, very dangerous. Okay, Sahasranam requires an initiation, specifically Lalita Sahasranam. If you look at the deities mentioned in Lalita Sahasranam, you'll very often find people who have done Lalita Sahasranam to get good results, but all they have received is destruction, because there are certain deities who will act as the prime minister of Lalita. For example, Bhairavi. Bhairavi is a very dangerous deity who is the prime minister of Lalita. So if you chant those deities' name during the day or during an inappropriate muhurta, it can be very, very, very destructive. Lalita Trishati is fine, but Sahasranam, it's a no. Okay, it's a big no from me. Okay, so for any deity, the safest is the Ashtottari Shatanamavali. Okay, Ashtottari Shatanamavali, the 108 names of any particular deity. It is available easily on YouTube. Right, so that is the safest bet for you, for all of you. Yes, yes, Leah.
You said during certain nakshatras, it's not favorable to do.
It is actually not favorable to do at certain times during all the days. Okay, now that would be a huge calculation to make, but because you cannot make so much calculations, it's better to be safe than to be sorry.
Okay.
Yes, Bharati, you were asking some question.
Whether we can offer a bowl of milk to the snake house.
Yes, you can.
If we are unable to offer the bowl of milk in our home, we can take it to the temple and we are worshipping the snake's house now.
That can be done. That can be done.
Thank you.
So Kumbha Lagna Sun Dasha running. It's my 7th Lord sitting in 6th house. Any mantra, obviously the Mritunjaya Mantra, as I suggested. Okay, don't add the Om to it. Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvaru Kamiva Bandhanan Mrityur Mukshaya Mamrita At. So this is the Mritunjaya Mantra. Do it every evening. Okay, not in the morning. Every evening. Right. 7th Lord Dasha can be very, very fearful. Okay, it can give you a lot of fears. 7th Lord and 2nd Lord, it can give you a lot of fears because it is your Marak houses. Those are your Marak houses.
I have a question, Debarshi Ji. If someone doesn't have, what to do when, if like you sneeze or you yawn in the middle of saying a specific word in the mantra. This is something I've always wanted to know, because the mantra is a vibration and then it unlocks something. And in the event that that word doesn't come out right, I'd like to hear what you have to say about that when that happens inevitably, of chanting something 108 times, especially if it's a longer mantra.
The thing is that if you are chanting a mantra and then all of a sudden you are sneezing or yawning, then the most simple thing to do is to repeat the mantra. Suppose Trambakam Yajamahe Sagane Ma, you are doing this, then repeat it. Just repeat it, nothing else to it.
Okay.
And suppose you are chanting say you are chanting a stuti. Okay, you are chanting a stotra. Okay, you are chanting a stotra. Always have that document in front of you. Suppose you are chanting the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam. Always have that document in front of you. Don't try to chant it without looking at it. Of course, you may have memorized it by heart, but always have that document with you, because that document is also a part of that deity. If you are using that document to read the mantra, that document also becomes a part of the deity. Okay, so that is how it works.
If you're chanting a strotam.
Yeah, if you're chanting a stotram or something long, maybe a stuti, then you always have that document with you. Or maybe if you're singing an arti, always have that document with you.
And would you say that these things that you warned us or gave us caution about for, like you were talking about the, like, let's say the Gayatri Mantra. That
Savitra
is-
Gayatri Mantra.
Okay, yeah, but so I'm speaking about Om Bhurva Swaha.
That is the Gayatri
So
Mantra.
my,
with the
my
Brihaspati.
question is, or the Maha Jaya Jantraye Mantra,
Mahamrit.
listening to them is okay?
The full version that you are saying? See,
Yeah,
most
like
of the- most
on
of the-
YouTube.
Suppose you type Gayatri Mantra on YouTube, the only Gayatri Mantra you will find is Om Bhurva Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam. So anyway,
Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na
yeah,
Prachodayat.
so you have anyways listened to it 1,000 times. What will listening to it for more do? Anyways, most of the poor kids, they are meant to chant Om Bhurva Swaha and they are doing ba 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 ba, but ultimately it will not give you any results. No? If your guru, if you are not initiated by a tradition, it will not give you any results.
And what about listening?
Listening
No.
also, it does not give you any results. It does not do anything. Okay, it's just like looking at a missile without knowing how to operate it. That's what listening does.
Mhm. And same for Mahajantra.
Yeah, it is the same. It is the same.
Same. Okay, good to know.
It is the same because all the versions of Mritunjaya Mantra that you will find on the net, it will be Om Trimbakam Yajamahe Sugandham. But as I said, you will have to remove the Om to get results. All right. Any more questions from anyone? Okay. All right. So thank you everyone for joining in. It's really a pleasure answering all your queries. And if you have any queries, even after this session, you can always write it in the group, post it in the group. I'll always answer them. The recordings of this session will be available either tonight or by early morning tomorrow. And hopefully I'll have all of you again for a session with Ritu Malhotra ji. She is a Vedic astrology teacher. We'll have that session on a Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And next Saturday, I'll be back with a session on the 8th house. Okay, understanding the 8th house of the horoscope. That would hopefully ignite quite a lot of unsaid things in astrology. Okay, thank you everyone. It was indeed a pleasure speaking to all of you, and hope everyone had a good time as well, just like I did. Namaste. Om Gurave Namaha.
Thank you. Thank you, Debarshi.